All right, thank you for holding. Today we'll go over VeChain USDT on the Binance chart. Once again, it's been a little while since I went over this project. If we just take a second to zoom out, let me go ahead and just hide this really quick. Delete this and delete this. You'll see before we marked this low, right, as the range low, and this was the range high. Now, based on this rectangle I drew, looks like I drew it somewhere around October of last year. If we go ahead and zoom in, we can see what happened for the most part, right? So we had it come down, front run this level, this demand zone a few times before impulsing higher, taking out the highs, back testing it and selling off, and it's now still trading above this demand zone, which actually got tested twice, right? So these little supply demand zones are very important, especially for VeChain. So let's go ahead and see what time frame was the most relevant here, because most likely I drew this box based off of some sort of demand, right? So it looks like it was the daily demand, right here. So slow impulse, move this really quick. Price came up, started to trade above here before moving higher. What you could have done too as well was just draw this line, or maybe what you could have done too as well is just use this little secondary pivot, main pivot, because that's what this level reacted with, right? And as you can see, as we move to the right, price ended up reacting to this zone a few times before bouncing and moving a little bit higher. So VeChain, in my opinion, we had a buy side imbalance coming at around 20 cents, pushed price higher. Now we're just accumulating, kind of doing this triangle, right? Looks like we attempted to break out of that triangle, and we're just holding. So the question is, will VeChain continue to hold this level and impulse higher? Will it fall below, test the lows one more time before moving higher? Both options are not terrible. If you are currently sidelined, you'd probably want to see this happen just so you could get a better entry. Right back at support, target the range highs, which is a 200% gain. If we do hold this level, you're now talking still 125%. It's a very interesting project for the most part. Price action seems to be, I would actually say, pretty solid, right? In terms of it just holding a specific low, right? It does not want to trade below 18 cents. You start trading below 18 cents and then VeChain can be in some trouble. But as of right now, let's see here. I wouldn't really want to, the previous week levels are not that important. What we can do is go to the previous year highs and previous year low, right? This seems to be actually the most important when it comes to this project, right? Only because, as you can see here, if we zoom in, we swept that low. So very bullish in my opinion. Let's see here. All right. Since last quarter, it's just traded inside the monthly levels, one-time framing on the monthly to the upside, right? So I could even delete this one. So you can see based on the monthly profiles, it's just been making higher lows for the past 4 months. Once again, locally a bullish sign. Weekly, it's making higher lows and lower highs, so it's starting to compress. And that's probably why we had this little bit of a rejection right there. So yeah, in my opinion, just doing this, looking at the dailies, weeklies, monthly, this is where the previous year's low was swept, back tested, and it's now trading up. In my opinion, it actually looks pretty bullish just based on what I'm saying, mainly based on the previous month lows, right? So we really want to stay above August lows, which comes in at 21 point, actually not 21, 2 cents. I've been saying 20, but it's 2 cents, so 2.17 cents, right? We want to stay above that low. And since this month it was basically going to be over in about a week and a half, we also still want to make sure we stay above the current monthly low. But if we do lose this current monthly low, we definitely want to stay above 0.0217. As long as we stay above that low right there, which also coincides with this impulse into, some people will go ahead and draw this as a demand zone, right? And as you can see, demand price came into it, bought up, still moving higher. So maintain this box, maintain this low, and things are looking good. And then you can definitely aim for the upside, right? Once again, about a 270% increase. This is going to be major resistance right at around 4 cents, 4.1 cents. That's still a 66% gain. And then to range highs, you're looking at roughly 33%. So VeChain is actually looking pretty good in my opinion. The market at the moment is selling off, right? But that's more locally. I would set alerts on this trend line because it has been holding it. If you took a long off this trend line, you've been doing quite well. Yeah, we could even come back down to around 20 for 0.22 cents, sweep these lows, right? Wouldn't be surprised to actually see something like that. Sweep these lows, front run last month's low, and then impulse higher. So that's kind of what I'm seeing with VeChain. Very bullish, 200% gain seems very likely. We need to stay above the previous month low at around 0.021 cents. And then you're looking good. It's a very slow trading project. Hasn't really done much in almost 2 years. It's just been staying between 0.18 cents to roughly, we had this impulse, but it kind of looks like a fluke. This is the best range right here, as you can see. Pivot high, buy side imbalance, back tested this area. So stay between 19 to 5.19 to basically 2 cents to 5 cents. That's what it's staying in between. So yeah, and since that is the range, also based on previous year's range, we go ahead and pull the fibs, right? You are in that area, right? That's safer buy zone, right? Where the sell zone once again would be above the 0.75. All right, so let's just see how this all plays out. It looks pretty good in my opinion. Just got to be patient. Make sure to wait for retracements before entering, similar to what's happening now. This was a local demand zone. If we start to lose this, then I wouldn't really look to enter a long on this project until, oh my god, what's going on here? Until we start to test these lows, right? And why is that? Because as you can see, that is where price reacted from, and that would be the next best demand zone. So thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and remember to leave a comment below. Take care.